Hey guys, Greg Hasberry and Bob Kuykendall, back with here again with segment 2. A lot of you guys know Bob was my kidney donor, and brought Bob in to actually give a little bit of perspective about what transpired between the two of us and what got us to this point, and also the things that we can do to share with you guys on perspective and where sensibilities are with with things going on in the world right now, and where we can go with a positive mindset.
In the last few minutes of thinking about how do you describe this journey, it's actually a perfect example of what I think is wrong with a lot of the way we live today. I mean, you take a story about donating a kidney to somebody, and it feels good. Everybody says, this guy needed a kidney, this guy gave it. Hey, it makes us feel good for a little bit, and then you just move on with life because everybody's so busy doing our little things and pursuing our task and our goals and whatever it is that we do. And so for me, this whole journey, I've always said, and the more we move along, now we're beyond a year, is only starting to solidify to me what I've said all along, is that, for me, this journey was about how we interacted with each other in a way that we didn't expect.
Exactly.
And it's an example of how we do with people every day. I mean, you see somebody in the office, hey, how's it going, Tim? Great. Bob, how you? Great. And you don't realize that there's a lot of crap going on in people's lives, and we're interacting just briefly while we each pursue our own little thing.
Right.
And so the deepest thing here, I think, and the irony is of your struggles physically. I mean, you had the faith, you had the heart, you had the mental part,
right,
but physically you were in really bad shape. And probably didn't tell most people. They say, how you doing, Greg? Oh, I'm hanging in there. Whatever stupid thing you would say to make them just move on. Yeah, I'm doing okay.
Right.
And while you're having those struggles, and I was in pretty good physical shape at the time, but I was struggling a lot with fate and my legacy and life, and midlife crisis. My father had just died in 2013, which made me start going through all of these questions of, where am I going? Have I been a good enough father, good enough husband? Have I done the right things?
Sure.
And then that made me start questioning like religion and spiritual things. And the more I would pray, the less I would hear.
Right.
And then simultaneously, you and your friends were struggling with your physicality, not the other part, but your faith wasn't.
Well, actually I was. Going through the whole dialysis, nights and the long 8 hours, I had a lot of time to actually sit in silence and actually hear and think, hear and reflect on the things that God was telling me.
Yeah. Because
truthfully, there were many times that I really wanted to quit. I wanted to give up. I had enough.
Yeah.
I mean, this stuff was beating me down. And I can think of several nights that, hard to admit this in front of the world, but I sat there in tears thinking, oh my God, I'm not going to see my kid anymore.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm not going to have another day. I'm not going to be able to come out and do the things that I used to be able to do. And in turn, I think again, our past actually brought us together and it taught us a lot about faith.
Yeah, but see, that's what's the coolest part to me, is that, cool in hindsight that we're both alive, is that you were struggling here, I was struggling here with my, questioning. The more I would pray, I'd got nothing. And when we sat down at Starbucks to talk about something totally unrelated to kidney, and I was led to, I could have just answered his question on the phone. Greg called me about something totally unrelated, and I was drawn to want to meet with him. I didn't have many close friends at the time.
Sure.
We sit down, and I felt it. I felt the same thing that all those people say, oh, God told me this, and I'm the guy that says, God did not tell you to buy a Chevrolet or whatever.
Right.
I'm that cynical guy, but I felt it, I knew it. Little did I know it was so much more detailed, because when that happened, when that brought us together, when we sat down, it was more, hey man, we catch up, so how you been? So what's the deal with your arm? I didn't know, because I was doing my own thing and my own struggles. He didn't know about me because he was doing his own thing and his own struggles.
Right.
And then little did you know how much we can impact each other.
We have a listening problem in the world, and we listen in order to respond instead of listening to actually understand. And I can think a list of people that I need to say I'm sorry to, because I didn't stop to actually listen. I just wanted to reply. And these are the things that we want to bring into the forefront, some things that we want to challenge people to think about. And if we can actually bring you a little bit closer to faith and see where you have another day, you know, God is giving you this opportunity that we can inspire you to move forward in life. That's what we're here for.
I have a super quick philosophy that I'm just now starting, and this whole process has brought this on to me. As I struggle with my retirement and what I want to do, I have this weird thing about serving, and I've worked for the federal government for over 20 years, and I want to continue to do something. All the while this is happening, and it was brought to me by a guy named Tommy Brigham, who is the founder of a local real estate company, Arc Realty.
Yes.
I met with Tommy because I was struggling with I'm getting ready to retire and all these midlife crisis thoughts, and then the kidney thing was great, but then the kidney thing ended, and it was like, okay, so that we did that, and then
Right.
we move on.
Right.
But something wasn't finished yet, and I think you
Right.
feel the same way. Like,
Absolutely.
oh, I got a kidney,
Sure.
but there's something more. Like
Right.
I'm not, you know, we got to use this somehow.
There's way more to life than just.
And what it
It's
occurred
more
to
like
me,
just
this whole this philosophy, Tommy said he founded this company on for biblical principles, Philippians 2, to do all things with not in vain ambition,
Right.
but by putting others' value above yours. And it's almost like, you know, I heard him say that, and it kind of clicked to me. And again, it was another passing of two people. He didn't know that those words were going to impact me at the time.
Sure.
But it was like, that's really it. Like, if you truly take a minute to do for others first, and I'm not trying to say that I'm some altruistic person that just selfless. It's kind of like a secret to life. I'm starting to think like
there's more of a thought process
there's
to everything.
there,
You know.
but there's a payoff. It's like
There is a payoff.
there really is a payoff, whether it's just a feel good, whether it's financial.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, you can say it's God, you can say it's karma, you can say it's the world. I kind of tend to believe it's God, but so far that's the track I'm gonna try to stay on.
Sure.
And I didn't have the vehicle to do it, and maybe this is it.
You know, and for me, one of the worst things in my life is patience. It's patience, and then when being challenged by someone who says, if you have faith, if you have the faith that you're supposed to have, then you've got all the patience in the world. Well, that was like a Tyson punch to me, because it's a daily challenge and it's a daily walk. You know, from the kidney deal through life, business, everything. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed part 1 and part 2, and we're looking forward to talking to you more on YouTube. See you later.